Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm going to let everybody get on, and I'm going to invite my friend Terry to come do this live with you. With us, I mean. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I wasn't patient enough last time, so I'm going to try to be a little more patient. And I am inviting Terry. Okay, here she is. Okay, let's see if she comes on. Let's see if I could do it again. This is so funny. I don't know why it takes so long to do this, but invite. Invite. Okay, Terry, let's see if you can come on. I'm inviting you. And today we're gonna talk about joy zappers and how we deal with that. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I invited her. Now my stand's falling. Oh my gosh. Hopefully it'll stay. Okay, I'm not sure why. Terry, you might have to request to come on. Because, oh my gosh, problems. Technology. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Anyways, say hi to me, you guys. If you're on with me, say hi. Terry's on now. Let's see if I can invite her. Invite. Oh, it says she's unable to join for some reason. Okay, let's try again. Terry, it says you're unable to join.
I'm here.
Oh, yay!
I'm like, but I'm here. So it doesn't know what it's talking about.
But where's your picture, my friend?
Oh, I'm showing up as I'm on.
Okay. I
So
don't see your picture. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I always have such a hard time with this.
but I see you.
Okay, do you see yourself?
Yeah, I see both of us on the screen.
Okay.
And so you just can't see me?
No, it's not showing up on my camera, but as long as you can see it, hopefully it's taping that way.
Okay, so let's see. Somebody who's watching, can you see both of us?
Yeah.
Would
Yeah, tell us. I
somebody
think
message
Alex.
us and let us know?
Hi, Alex. Tell us. Oh, good. Alex said he could see us both. Hi. Hi. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started then. I'm Jeanette Bergstrom, and I'm an acrylic artist and painter. And with me is my friend Terry Wilson from Terry Wilson Art. And go ahead and say hi, Terry. Oh, and this is our it said she's off again. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Trying this one more time. We're going to talk about joy zappers when we're painting.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay, I don't think it's us. I don't think it's us, actually. I think that we're getting blamed for all of the technology. But honestly, I think it's Instagram because it had me on there. They could see both of us. You couldn't see me. Then it popped me off in the middle of talking, and then it brought me back. So I don't know what's. I think we blamed them.
I like that idea. Okay, so go ahead and tell them. I was just saying we were going to talk about joy zappers, but go ahead and say what you were going to say. Hi.
Oh, just hi. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about Joy Zappers because you and I talked about we always have like a meeting before, we go on here to make sure we're on the same page and what we're going to talk about. And yesterday or Monday we did that, and I already feel like I'm ready to talk about it because there's just been Joy Zappers
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Well, I wrote down I have three. Two of them kind of go together with each other.
Okay.
Do you want me to
Okay.
start or do you want to start?
Well, I was just going to say, like, the premise of this is that as artists, there are so many things, that do zap our joy. And I think that most of us create because it brings joy. And so we have to really put a bubble around ourselves and our art practice because all these little things come in and start poking holes in that bubble, and it slowly starts to deflate. And then all of a sudden you just realize, I am not in joy right now. I'm not in my joy. And you have to figure out what's poking those holes and then fill them, or somehow find joy. And if it's something that you can't get out of, which we'll talk about, you got to find joy in that so that you can be happy more.
I love that analogy. We can put some bubble gum in those holes. We can make a game out of it. But I love that analogy. That is perfect because you have to put a bubble around the creative process. A bubble.
My dog just came in and she has a coughing issue because she's an older girl. So you're going to hear her hacking up a lung. I apologize.
Okay, no problem. I have to give my dog a treat so she stays quiet, so she knows this is the work time. This is the work time. Okay, well,
Okay, start with what are your joy zappers? What is it for you?
okay, I'll talk. I have three, and the first two kind of go together. So one is comparison, the second one is imposter syndrome, and the
Mm-hmm.
third one is commissions. So I'll talk
Yeah.
about. We can talk about
Check,
the first
check,
two
and
together.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I do when I'm looking at Instagram and I'm looking at other artists, I admire them, but I also I put this pressure on myself, like I'm not doing enough. Like they've done so much more than I have, and I compare myself to the timeline, and I'm like, why am I doing that? Everybody's on their own time. But I look at other artists and I think, oh, I should have had that done by now, or I should be doing that also. And I put all this pressure on myself to perform and to compare. But I don't know what their story is. I don't know how long they've been doing it. I don't know if they have people helping them. You gotta stop. I gotta stop doing that. So I don't know if you do that, but that's one of my that I look at other people and think, oh, I should be doing that. Oh, I should be doing that. And it's hard to stop and say, no, you don't have to do everything. So I worry about that.
I feel that way absolutely 100%, not just on Instagram, but in our media course that we take with Jessica Hughes. Any class that I take, any workshop that I take, I'm constantly comparing myself to others. And I'm a newer artist. I have not been cooking at this as long as you. So it's encouraging to me to know that you feel the same way. I mean, I wish that we didn't feel that way, but it makes me feel a little bit better that it's not just me, that it is something that I feel like we all do. And I just try to remind myself that you're right. We don't know their story. And instead of me feeling like I need to compete with it, not compete, but I need to be at the same place that they are, I just try to remind myself that they're setting the path for me.
Right.
For instance, like just today, our friend Dawn from class, she messaged on my post that I did today about yesterday. She was like, something, great job, congratulations. And I said, I'm just trying to be like you. I'm just trying to follow you and your courage and your awesomeness, because she's been doing a lot more in our class than I have. And I could compare myself, but I try to go, okay, but she's showing me the way.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it, because then they show you what you can do, what's possible, what's available. So if you spin it to the positive, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, we have to, because if not, we are going to, as much as we have to be on social media to promote our businesses, if every time we go on there we fall into the comparison trap, then we're going to be unhappy a lot.
Well, and I neither one of us want that at all. And
No.
I also know that it is true. Whatever is meant for you is gonna come to you. So, and that's hands down fact. That's gonna happen. So
Yeah, for
we just have
sure.
to trust that. And then the one that kind of goes along with that is when I'm looking at other artists is the imposter syndrome, that I'm not
Yeah.
good enough. But I know that's a lot of my own. I put that pressure on myself, and I just have to keep being in gratitude and thankful for what I have. And then I just say, you know what, as long as I'm painting from my heart and what's true to me, it's not going to matter, because it's going to resonate with someone. Like, I don't know if you do that. I know you probably did that when you first
I
started.
do. We've talked about it. Yeah, we and I even talked about it in our class, because because I am self-taught,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started that 2 years ago. Okay, I think I might have to put her out. Can you guys
Oh,
hear her? Is she bothering you?
I can hear her, but just really little, just little, not very much. So I wouldn't worry.
She's distracting me. Okay.
Okay, but so
I
do it if you
feel
want to.
I'm gonna put her out. Okay.
Okay.
Come on, go upstairs with Dad. Go, 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 go. Hold up, Mama. Go up. I'll be back. And you know they don't understand. She's like, "What? Why can't I stay with you? I'm not doing anything wrong."
I know, that
No,
breaks my heart.
I know. Because of those reasons that we were saying of me just starting, I struggled with that hard, very, very hard. And so much so that I was scared to put my stuff out there on social media. I mean, I can remember pushing the first button of like, I'm going to put this art out here and we'll see what happens. But I love what you said, and I 100% agree, is that we have to bring it always back to reminding ourselves of like why we're doing it. So it's for joy. For me, I know for you too. And so as long as we feel happy with what we're doing and putting it out there, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. Right?
Because we're going to do it, like the way I look at it too is when I start to get myself into that mode, I say, well, I'm going to do it regardless. So it doesn't matter if I'm not as good as somebody else, because I'm still going to do it because it brings me happiness and joy. So I think just doing an art practice is something that you give to yourself. And if it connects with somebody, which I believe it will, and you will find somebody that likes your art if you're doing it to sell, it's going to happen. It just is going to take some time. But I'm going to do it anyways. So if I look at it, well, it's just giving me a way to put my art out there. And if somebody wants it and finds a great home, yay. Otherwise, it's just going to be stacked in my garage, but I'm still going to go ahead and do it. So,
but you know what? So the whole garage thing. So I follow a lot of other artists because that's how I'm learning and growing. And I have seen a lot of more established and well, bigger artists out there that are, in galleries and they're selling and all that. They have stacks of beautiful paintings in their garages or their storage places that they show on Instagram. And I think, you know what, just because it's in our garage doesn't mean that it's not amazing, because theirs is. It just has to sit there until the right person comes along that falls in love with it or that it connects with, and then they purchase it. So comparison is the thief of joy. And that I think that it goes back to what we talked about a minute ago of comparison leads to imposter syndrome. Yep. Because we're comparing when we compare ourselves, we're comparing ourselves to their highlight reel. Right. The only things that we see on Instagram are everybody's perfectly curated, it's all the good stuff, And so then we go, well, I'm not there and I'm not like that. But they're not showing all the behind the scenes that, that it takes to get there. So, and I saw an article or a little blurb yesterday that said, we are artists, even if we create part-time, no time, anytime, you are an artist. You don't have to consider yourself an artist with parameters of I'm only an artist if I'm in a gallery. I'm only an artist if I'm selling. I'm only an artist if people are following me. No, we're artists because we create.
Right. And I think people that have been trained in art have that stigma because if they don't get in a gallery, then they're not a pure artist. So I think people that go to art school have that even more than someone who's just self-taught, I believe. And Cindy,
But you went to art school, right? Did you go to art school?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I ended up doing a graphic design degree because of the old limiting belief that I'm not gonna be able to make money as an artist. So I went to and did graphic design, and I'm actually still freelancing today. But my niece went to art school, and I think she has more of a, and I don't want to speak for her, but I do think she has more of an of a criteria of what she does with her art, because it's a more serious than I'm just doing it to have fun and doing something for myself, like you said, and brings us joy. But I think she's more serious about it because she did go to art school. So I just thought that was interesting. And then Cindy Bankart said, when we post, we inspire other artists to post. Well, that's true. That is true.
Absolutely. I mean, if the art community wasn't on Instagram and they weren't posting all of their stuff, I wouldn't be an artist, because that's literally how I taught myself to do everything that I've done so far, is scrolling at night and watching all the little reels and videos. I know all the artist community is up in arms about reels right now, but reels are how I taught myself, and then I did workshops and stuff. So yeah, I think we just have to get over ourselves and just be vulnerable, like get comfortable. I think being an artist is being comfortable with being vulnerable, because we have to put our stuff out there, and we have to put our art out there to be judged. And ultimately, it doesn't matter, because if it brought you joy to make it, that was the intention.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to do it regardless of what anybody thinks. And I do feel like a lot of all our joy zappers, like you said, our little bubble, we got to put our minds, like our ego mind, on the outside of the bubble, because that to me is my biggest thing, is the self-doubt and the self. So I do Jess taught us about this, about the future gratitude journal. So you write as if it's already happened and you're thanking it for happening. That to me, I try to do that every day to get that energy out there. But it's a lot of our joy zappers are put on ourselves. Now there's some stuff, we talked about this, that we have to do, like, because we do want to make our art as a business, we have to do all that business stuff. That's not fun. But we're doing it now, so that when our art is selling like hotcakes, which it will, we can just do art, and we can hire people to help us with all the business stuff. That's what I'm looking forward to.
And that exact thing, actually, today, Jody King, actually, I think she's live right now on Facebook. She does her live on Wednesdays, and she had a whole post about those things, about the things that we have to do as artists that don't bring us joy, but you learn to have joy in them because it allows you to be able to do what you want to do.
Exactly. And Allie, hi Allie. She said, Allie for the Soul said, agreed. I love so much from watching other art, learn so much from watching other artists. So grateful for people putting themselves out there.
Yeah,
for sure. And Aussie Mama says you have to keep believing in yourself. And that's the main thing for me, and most people probably, is just having that confidence. But I do think the more you remember, this is coming from my heart, this is coming from what I love, and you remember that's why you're doing it, and the joy that you're getting, then it's going to be okay. But it's not easy in the moment, for sure.
It is not. And you do have to, as Aussie Mama said, you do have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself first, and it's okay I think it's okay to feel unsure, but you still have to believe in yourself to a certain degree, because if you don't believe in yourself, then who is going to?
Right. Exactly. That's right. I mean, I don't have a husband or a boyfriend or anything right now. So I only have me. I mean, I have my sisters. My sisters are huge support for me, but and friends, obviously. And that's why I love doing this with you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
Me too.
It's so nice. And we're going to have more artists on too, which is awesome because I love having these conversations with
Yeah, it's very
artists.
good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we hit your third? What was your third one?
Okay, my third one, which I think we agree on together, is commissions. So
They
I
are so
know,
bittersweet. They are so bittersweet.
I know, and I know some people love doing commissions because they collaborate with people and they get to try new things with their colors. Like if somebody wants a certain color for their house, and I do them, but again, I am more concerned with the outcome when I do commissions. So there's more pressure on me because I'm trying to make sure I get it the way somebody else wants it. And it also brings up, when I'm working
Busy.
in a corporate environment and as
Yes.
a graphic designer, you have to do everything that everybody else wants. Not you put out what you think is the best, but then you have someone over here that wants green and someone over there wants blue. And it's like, really? It's like, so it's that pressure of having to do something for somebody else versus when I paint and it's for freedom, and I don't care what the outcome is. I can mess it up if I want to mess it up, and then it doesn't matter. But when I'm doing it as a commission, I again put too much pressure on myself on the outcome and not
Absolutely.
wanting to mess it up.
Absolutely, because well, I'm a people pleaser and I
Yep.
struggle with that, right? And I actually, I don't want to say that I struggle with that because I think that there's some value to wanting to make other people feel important, right? But when it starts to become at your detriment, it doesn't feel very good. So there's a balance there. But I think because I'm a people pleaser, yeah, of course, if somebody's wants to pay me to make something for them, and then they explain to me like the meaning behind it, then there is a lot of pressure for you want it to be good for them because you know that it means a lot to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, so one of my great friends and my neighbor next door, Donnell, when I just did this last rainbow commission, there were moments, and you know this because I talked to you about it, but there were moments that I was super stressed out for that reason. It had a lot of emotional tie to it for the client that wanted it for her family. And my friend said, you know what, Terry, you got to just relax in that she knows what you do.
Right.
She's seen what you do. She wants you to do what you do. Stop trying to paint for her and paint for you because that's what she wants.
Yes.
And I actually didn't even understand that until after I was done with the painting because I was still so uber focused on making her happy. But I think moving forward, it's something for us to remember. Like a commission they like your style. They
Right.
like how you do things and they want what you do. So let it go and just
I
paint.
know.
But it's hard.
I know. So a suggestion for that is doing two. So doing two at the same time. So you have
Yes.
one that you're working on that you think in your head is going to be the commission one. And you have one over here that you're doing just for fun. And then
Yes.
I bet you 100 or 95% of the time, you're going to pick the one that you thought was just for fun, or you show them both and the customer's going to like the fun one better. So try that the next time you have someone else wanting a painting. Try doing two and seeing what happens.
Absolutely.
I think for me, if I do a commission again, I'm going to do that for sure because I do it already on my own just because I like playing around with two at a time. But I think it's the outcome, making the outcome so precious that stresses me the heck out. And
yes, and
yeah.
that's another joy zapper. And I talked to my husband about this yesterday. Is a joy zapper is that you feel like you don't have enough canvas, or that the canvas is so precious, right? That you can't just go crazy on it because you are going to mess it up and then you're not going to have another canvas, right? And I just told him, I was like, if everybody could have the funds, if every artist could have the funds for unlimited canvases, that
Uh-huh.
they would just let themselves be so much more free to just do what they want because they're like, ah, oh, screwed that one up, got another canvas, let me start again. You know, like it's just, and I find myself like I
Yeah.
did after I sold a couple paintings, then I did splurge and stock up on like a whole bunch of canvases.
Yep.
And now I'm going through them and I start to see them dwindle. And I'm like, now they're starting to become precious again. And it's like, no, just go get some more, like save your money if you need to, go get a bunch of canvases. And then you can create in the way that you're saying of multiples at a time.
Yeah.
And they're not precious.
Yeah. And I think, with canvas too, we have to remember, worst comes to worst, we could paint over it. But, that gets to be, you're going to be painting over a lot of canvases. But I
Well,
ended up,
anybody see my boob painting? Because I totally painted over that whole thing. It's not even the same at all.
it turned out so good though. I don't know. You guys want to tell everybody that story quickly. I know
Well,
it's a little bit
you
sidetracked, but.
yeah, you could go back and see. It's on my feed, but I did this one painting and I loved parts of it, and then once I put it up on the wall, I kind of leaned it up and I could see that it looked like boobs, and I was like, oh, then I couldn't. It's like just two boobs, and then people were like, yeah, and a belly. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this got to go. So I tried to and there was one part that I loved and I wanted to keep that. And so I was trying to still change the boobs out and it just never worked. And so finally I just thought, I'm tired of fighting it and it no longer is bringing me any joy. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to paint over the whole thing. And it's actually a completely different painting now than it's not even the same style or anything.
Yeah.
But
But
it
it turned
actually
out great.
catapulted me. Yeah, it catapulted me into, because I had already messed it up in my mind. And that's a big canvas. That's a 48 by 60. I mean, it's pretty big for me.
Yeah.
And so, but because it wasn't precious anymore, I'd already screwed it up. I was free to paint whatever I wanted, and then that's what came out. And then that catapulted me into doing like what I'm doing, the flowers that I'm doing now. So
Yeah,
see?
yeah, it's gonna lead you somewhere. You're gonna learn, you're gonna gain knowledge, or you're gonna figure something out that you like, that you want to keep doing for sure every
Yeah,
time. So it's
yeah.
never, nothing we do as artists, I think, is ever a waste. I
Mm-mm.
think you're always learning, you're always gaining something, and if we keep that joy zapper, which for me is my mindset, if I keep that joy zapper out, I'm gonna be much, much happier. So, but those were my main three, which I think a lot of people feel. But so, did you have any other ones that you want to add?
What did I write down for mine? I think I was taking notes. But when you and I were talking, I was taking notes on what you were saying, and I agree with all of them.
Yeah.
So, oh, I know what we wrote down. Well, it kind of goes back to commissions. We wrote down the following the trends,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
following trends and trying to paint for others. But for me, I think that my joy zappers are the business side of art,
Yeah.
and it. I wrote down sometimes like social media. Sometimes it's fun. Um, and for me, social media was really hard because I have a whole Instagram. I mean, I have a whole Facebook thing that I've done forever. And I know Facebook really well, which you are like, I don't know Facebook. I don't know Instagram. You know more Instagram than I do. So, so Instagram was stealing all of my joy and had the pressure to like have, um, content and how to get it out there and what does the algorithm mean and insights and all of this stuff. And so I decided that it's not going anywhere. It's how we sell our paintings. It's a blessing to have it because we don't have to wait for gallery representation anymore. We can put
Right.
our stuff out there and sell it and keep our commissions for ourselves, right?
Right. Huge.
So if it's necessary, I need to learn it and then get comfortable with it and then embrace that and find joy in it
Yeah.
so that it's not zapping me every day because I need to post all the time.
Right. Right. But like that the girl before said, watching somebody else post something it can be inspirational. So if you're posting and you think of it that way, that'll make it more fun too. I know they're not easy to do, but I set I get a little pressure on myself when I have the camera behind me and I'm trying to paint, but I'm trying to video everything no matter what.
Yes.
And then I'll go back and figure out if it's worth posting. But I'm kind of just like, when I have a bigger space someday, which is going to happen, I'm going to just have a camera set up every time I start painting. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to start recording, and then eventually, you know, it'll get easier. But just like us doing this live, it wasn't easy. I mean, I was so nervous at first. And I think even though I still can't make it seem smooth, but it's getting easier and more fun every time we do it. So I think it's
Absolutely.
getting comfortable, and I think it's not being too precious or too tight with the outcome. I think that's a big deal. And I think also when you talked about following the trends, I think that, like you said, it does go back to comparison and all of that imposter syndrome, because you look at, oh my gosh, that person's using, you know, has mostly white on their canvas, or they have all pale colors versus bright colors, and the bright colors aren't selling. So, oh my gosh, I got to go and do pale colors. But I just don't think, if you try to copy somebody else, it's not going to resonate. The only way it's
100%.
the only way it's going to resonate if it comes from you. Now, you can see something somebody does and like it, like, oh, I like that brown, or I like that, you know, that really light tone. Well, let's try something that has light tones, but do it in your way. And that's the
Right.
only way it's going to work. Because if you try to copy something, I know in art school, you can study masters and you can try to paint like them and copy them, but you learn from doing that, right? But
Right.
it's still, if you're doing it for selling to someone, it's not going to resonate unless you do what's you and what's coming from your heart. It's not. So
Absolutely.
you can take parts and pieces of what someone does and like it, and you can practice, you can try some things. You'll find things out of that you love, that you can then incorporate into your own art, and it'll be amazing. Let's see.
Okay,
Allie
hold
says,
on. So,
yeah,
yeah.
you want to read it? Read Allie's.
She said, for me, I struggled with proportion for years. Then I started watching my mentor paint using a grid and saying that's not cheating, changed my world. I
True.
saw someone recently doing that too,
True.
and I never thought that it was cheating. I actually thought it was freaking brilliant. I mean, I think that we play these weird tapes in our heads of like what's appropriate and what isn't. And I think that these are, you know, man-made rules that somebody came up with at some point that then has been regurgitated down all these years. And it's like, we're in a new world now. Like we're in a new, things are changing. And so what may have been looked down upon or okay, first of all, the fact that you can paint what you paint, because we have all seen your paintings and they are absolutely spectacular, Allie.
Yeah.
The fact that you can do that with using a grid blows my mind. I think that's the most awesome thing ever. But it's so crazy how we tell ourselves that, oh no, it's not appropriate. Like it's not, you know,
Yep.
it's,
Yep.
and that leads into imposter syndrome again.
Yep. Yep. But we actually were taught that grid system in college too. So
Really?
I think a lot of artists use that. That's the only way you can really blow things up, and make sure the proportion is right. So I think that. But Allie, I painted a pig. I was doing a class, an online class, painting a pig from someone. I've never posted it because it was basically that person's class painting. But I had to paint that darn snout of that pig like 10 times. I painted over that thing. So yeah, it's not
For proportion?
for proportion. So even when I gridded it out, I still couldn't get that darn snout right. So if, for those of you guys that don't know, Allie, for the Soul, who's on, does all kinds of animals and pigs, and awesome. And we're gonna have her on eventually. Yeah,
Coming up, actually.
Yeah,
It's
in
coming up.
September.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love all this conversation with us, and I'm trying to think, is there anything that we talked about that we're forgetting?
Well, I think that ending it on I think ending it on the note that we wrote down. She does rock, doesn't she, Allie Rock? She does. I think ending it on the biggest way to fill the holes in your bubble is by having a support system that you can bounce these feelings and thoughts off of to they plug the hole, because sometimes you're so in the middle of what you're feeling that you can't get out of it, or you don't remember you're not logical, and you surround yourself with somebody like I have you, I have my husband, I have my core group of friends that I can talk to, and they'll be like, yeah, so that's not really real. You're spiraling. And so let's come back to what's real. And my husband's always, every time I go to something and I'm not feeling joy, he's like, okay, well, the whole reason that we started this art journey with you is that it was for you to create more joy in you and in your life. And so if whatever you're doing isn't sparking joy, then you've got to just let it either find a way or get out of it, but you can't just keep wallowing in it and, not having a way out. So I think everybody probably knows who those people are for them, but if those people aren't doing it anymore, or if you need something different, then find someone, connect with someone, and create that group for you that lifts you and encourages you and inspires you.
Yeah, and talk on Instagram, because we met in a group, but yeah, having the support of these artists are just amazing. And I'll also say the mindset work is huge too. Like, that's the other way to plug a hole, is just to work on your positivity and your gratefulness, because if you are grateful for what you already have, then it's going to change your mood in an instant, and you're not going to be in that bad headspace and that you can't do it, that you can do it. And I did a post that said, we are all creative. The difference is having the desire to create. That's the only difference. Like, every person is born being creative. Every person could be an artist. They just have to have the desire to do it. And once you do it and you find that joy, then we got to just keep on doing whatever brings you that joy in your life. And to plug those holes, get out of those. You gotta
stop letting your bubble deflate.
Yeah, you gotta protect your bubble. You gotta protect that bubble.
Absolutely.
So, I was just gonna say, finish what you're gonna say.
I was gonna ask you, like, I don't know, where are we for time, but I was gonna ask you, like, what are you working on? Like, what's next for you over these next couple weeks until we do our next live?
Okay. So, I not before our next live, but I've been struggling with that one painting. So I had put rocks in, and then I took rocks out. So now it's without rocks, and I love it now.
I love it.
I don't know. I didn't have rocks to start, and then I put rocks in down here, and then I painted them out again. So there you go. You can paint things over. So I finished that one, which I'm really happy about, but I did something scary. So I signed up to do an art fair in the little beach town that's down the road for me. They have 2 open spots for October and December, and it's at the San Clemente Valley Art Fair by the San Clemente Library. And I don't have a tent. I don't know how to hang the paintings. I've got to get some prints made, so I have some lower price items, but I just figured, you know what, whether I sell stuff or not, it's another thing that I can chalk up to say, I've done it, I've learned from it, and, I'm just going to give it a go, get exposure, meet people. So I am doing it in complete fear and the utter scariness. But I'm gonna go for it, and I gotta have to figure out how to order a tent. So that's my first thing. So hopefully when I talk to you guys in September, I'll have the tent will have been ordered. I'll have figured out how to hang the paintings from the walls of the tent. So I'll keep you posted. And then anybody that wants to know how I did it, I'll let you know. When I
We
figure it
totally
out.
want to, I'm sure we're going to talk about it after you do it on one of our lives for sure,
Yeah.
because that's a whole thing. Like, I have not done any kind of art fair or anything like that. This summer, I spent time, I wrote them all out in my calendar, and then I went with different people, and we went with the sole purpose of seeing how they set up, what they took with them, how their lighting was, what they, just all of it, to see if it was something that I might want to do. So you're going before me, so pave that way, baby.
And Allie said if I'm in Artwork Archive, which I'm not, but I'm thinking about doing Artwork Archive. They have a way you can print out the little labels that you can attach. So
Oh,
it
for the
shows
side.
the size and the price. Yeah. So, you, let's see. Aussie Mama says Uline has great things to buy for setup. Okay, I'm going to check that out.
Good.
Thank you,
There you go.
Aussie
See?
Mama. Yay.
Yay. Thanks for
Yay,
sharing, you guys. So
artists. Yay,
awesome.
artists.
Artists for the win.
Yes. I love it. Okay, so you got to talk about your thing some more. What are you up to, Missy?
Well, I've been up to, since the last time that we did our live, I came across this opportunity in the Seattle area for the downtown corridor where it's called Seattle Restored, and it's a program where they're partnering with creatives to put pop-ups and art displays and different things in vacant windows of the downtown area to recreate vibrancy after the pandemic and everything closing down and all of that. And so I don't know, something just told me, I haven't done anything like this before. I didn't have an artist bio, all that stuff. And that's kind of held me back from doing any of those to begin with, but I just couldn't pass it by. It just seems like a perfect opportunity to put myself out there and just see how my art is accepted outside of, just my
Bubble.
online community,
Yeah.
And so I struggled with imposter syndrome all the way through it. There are so many times I was like, well, who do you think you are that you're going to put your art out there and, blah, blah. And then I'd be like, but I have just as good a chance as anybody else,
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, and I'm never gonna know. My whole thing is you'll never know unless you try.
Right.
And so I didn't know I could do art until I tried it, and here I am. And so anyway, yesterday I hit the submit button. I actually did a video of it. It's on my feed today with Tony and I when I pushed submit, and it was overwhelming. Yesterday morning, I spent all day writing out and finishing up like my bio. I had to write so much stuff to apply. And it was hard. It was really like I had a snot cry breakdown. Oh, it was just because I just couldn't figure out how to put the words in and how to make it be what I thought it needed to be. And here's another lesson that I learned from that.
Yeah,
is that
that's a joy stepper for me is writing. I can't write.
Oh, well, I'm finding that I can write if I just write what I want to write. But in this instance, I felt like I had to write what they wanted me to write, right? When you're writing your artist bio and your artist statement and all these things that they want you to write, I didn't know how to do any of them. So I went online and I started to research it. And the more I researched it, the more I saw, and the more I saw, the more confused I got. And then I lost my voice completely. And that's, I think, why I was in tears, was because it was like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And so what I did was I just made the decision after I cried it all out, because I cry when I'm frustrated. And so I let it all out. And then I thought, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to write what I want to write. Yeah. And if they don't like it, then I don't want to be a part of whatever they're doing anyway. Because if I can't be me in whatever I'm doing, I'm out. Huge. I spent way too long of my life
you and I
rearranging rearranging ourselves, losing ourselves, putting stuff out there because it was what we were supposed to do. You got to be the good girl. You got to do the right thing. You can't offend. You can't do this. And I just thought, I'm me, and my art is me. And so if the way that I talk and the way that I talk about my art and my art practice isn't enough for you, well, then too bad, because you're going to miss out on my awesomeness, because it's enough for me. And that felt so freaking empowering. And then I just wrote it and I just submitted it. And who cares what they say? Because what they say and whether or not they tell me I can put my art in their window doesn't matter, because I still conquered something that was deep inside of me.
Yeah, and
by
you learn
doing
that
it.
lesson. You learn that lesson, and then all that stuff that you wrote, you can have it to use again. So I am so proud of you, and
It's so fun.
I know, and there was something in you that made you do that. So I think it's going to happen, and I can't wait to see the photos of your stuff in a window downtown Seattle. That's
We
going to be
shall
amazing.
see. We will see. It will be super fun if I can. I absolutely love Seattle. It is my favorite city. And I would love to be able to, how honored would I be to be able to actually be a part of creating that resurgence of joy and happiness back down in the shopping and downtown area. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and Cindy said, she goes, I just always want to say, do you like my art or not? If you don't, it's fine. Somebody else is going to like it. And I believe that to the core. Don't give up. Keep going. Plug the bubble holes and keep your joy happening, because that's what makes us survive.
Who we are.
Painting and the art totally helps everything. So
Absolutely.
awesome.
Well, I can't wait. Everybody that's following, thanks for, or watching, thanks for watching, thanks for following us, thanks for cheering for us, and we love doing the same for you. If we don't, it's not because we're not, it's because the stupid algorithm isn't showing our stuff the way that we want it to, but just know eventually you come through our feed and we cheer, and I'm just excited and I'm thankful to be a part of this community. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and thank you, Terry, for doing these lives with me. I would recommend that to anybody that wants to start doing IG lives or Facebook lives. Get a fellow artist, because it makes it more fun.
It totally does.
I love it. All right, girls. Well, we're doing it every other week, and our new title, If This Canvas Could Talk.
Good talk.
See you in 2 weeks. Okay,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Now let's see if I can shut it off. I always have a problem with that. So here it goes. Bye, everybody. Thanks for following and watching. Bye, my friend.
Bye.